We like to start every episode with a disclaimer that we are not professionals. Our conversations are solely based on our personal experiences, thoughts, and opinions. Nothing discussed here is meant to be taken as professional mental health or medical advice. If you have questions or need assistance, please seek the help of a licensed professional.
Discussions in this podcast may sometimes revolve around heavy material such as abuse, grooming, religious trauma, etc. Please listen with caution and prioritize your mental health first.
Welcome to Trauma Bondage, the podcast where we talk about trauma, kinks, and non-traditional lifestyles from a queer lens.
Hey.
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 Hi.
Hey, boo.
So we have our first in-person guest ever.
Ow!
The illustrious Niki Joans, who also happens to be my girlfriend, who I talk about all the time on this podcast.
This
You'll
is
finally
true.
get to see them.
In all their glory.
In all their glory.
If you're watching.
Yes. So first, every time we have a guest, we start off with pronouns. What are your pronouns, baby?
So my pronouns are they, them. However, she, her, this is still pretty new for a lot of people that know me, so she, her still kind of gets thrown around, and that's also okay.
We will try to respect that.
But yeah, it's just, it's a thought that counts, so there you go.
Okay, cool. Will you give the people a quick bio of yourself?
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Okay, I'll take my shirt off. So, okay, I was born in Maryland, and my dad was in the military, so I lived and moved everywhere. I think I went to a total of like 14 different schools. Along that journey, I ended back up in Texas, and currently I am working in the mental health field. A mental health practitioner, if you will. But then, on the side of that, I do music. I'm a musician, and that is the goal, is to be doing, that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I would rather just do nothing with my degree and everything with music. Make some money, pay off my debt, and then, we're good.
Yeah. What's your band called?
My band is called Summit Valley. And we actually just, I'll go ahead and say this now, released an EP, our first EP, actually, June 15th, I believe, and it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever the hell you can find music, it's on there. So yeah, go
As
stream
we like
that.
to say, wherever your auditory kink takes you, it's there to listen to. So
it is
you should
there.
listen. It's great.
It is there.
You
to listen
said that
to.
for the first time the other day, and I was like, damn, that's a good line.
Thanks. I do that. We're now going to assault you with questions. Okay. So,
yes.
Consensually? Consensually. Do you consent to this interview?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Resounding yes. Okay. That's the only kind of consent yes that you should take. A resounding one. Fireworks in the air. All right. So what inspired you to get into the mental health field?
So you'll find that a lot of people that work in the mental health field are there for their own purposes, right? Like, everybody has a story. My whole reason for going into it was because I finally got to a place in my life where I wanted to be the person that I may have needed when I was younger for somebody else. I had a really, really hard time during my middle school, teen years, like most people do. But then, I got to college, decided to major in psychology, and I knew that I couldn't necessarily, become a therapist right away, because you have to have your master's for that, and I have not found the time. But I found an opportunity to work in mental health as a case manager, which what that is basically we're just unlicensed therapists and social workers. It's kind of like a what don't we do situation. But I think a really big part of why I wanted to go into it was just because I know how hard it was for me during, my teenage years, and just really feeling lost and alone, and, not really knowing what to do when it came to mental health. So being able to, now be that person that's on the other side of the table and kind of give back and teach kids hey, I promise you it gets better. Because that's something I really needed to hear, and I didn't. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm giving back.
I love that. I have to ask, so as a case manager, unlicensed therapist, does it make it more accessible for people?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say yes. The place that I work at is a company that does outpatient services. So there's inpatient services where you could go to a psychiatric, hospital, and you can stay there and do, group counseling, therapy, medication management, all these other things. But then there's outpatient where, you live at your house, and then, you come, say, meet with me, for example, once or twice a week. And, we do some therapy sessions. And then you go home, and you're paying for the entire service, which is therapy, if you wanted to do medication management, meeting with an actual therapist on top of already getting support from like case managers. A lot of the places that are similar to where I work will take you with or without insurance. I don't know how it is in other states, but in like our area, they'll work with you. The biggest difference between that and therapy is that, yeah, if you're going to a licensed therapist, they're going to want to look at, okay, well, what insurances do you have? Like, do you have it? Yes or no? Because if you don't, then I can't work with you.
Yeah.
So that makes it way less accessible than, you know, what I'm doing because I'm not licensed.
Yeah.
But I do a good job.
I believe it.
I trust you more than most therapists, to be honest.
Listen.
When I have questions, I'm just like, what do you think about this?
What do you think I should do about this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's also called companionship.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what you should feel like you can do with your partners.
That's what a healthy relationship looks like.
If you don't feel like
guys.
you can do that, maybe reevaluate.
That's fair. That's fair.
But so you started working with, like, I know when we met, you were working with adults.
Yeah.
And now you've just transitioned to working with kids, which I know you haven't like had a ton of experience doing that yet. But like, as far as like the adult behavioral health side of things goes, like, what are some like common things that you saw in that world?
So common things with adult behavioral health. I'll say the biggest thing was just unresolved trauma. And people, you know, coming and working with me at 50 years of age and sharing things that they'd never shared with anybody. And then now they're trying to figure out what to do with this information.
Start a podcast.
That, yeah, literally.
Called Trauma Bondage.
Here we are.
Well, so not everybody, you know, goes and starts podcasts based on trauma.
Really?
But this is a good one. But yeah, just the biggest commonality was just people just never having faced any of the things that they went through. That was huge. And I will say I just transitioned to working with youth behavioral health, and just in these last few weeks, like some of the patients that I've met, some of the kids, they are like unbelievably so intelligent and just so self-aware, like 9 out of 10 times more than the adults that I worked with, which is, it's crazy. It's like I'm listening to these kids talk versus like the adult patients that I had, and I'm like, this kid is so self-aware, like that's insane.
You can see a generational shift too with how society has shifted and how mental health has become more of an accepted thing to like go work on.
Yeah.
It's not taboo anymore.
Yeah. Oh, you grow up and you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and rub some dirt in it and just deal.
Walk it off.
No.
I also think, I wonder if it has anything to do with like the kids being intelligent, like you're saying, if it has anything to do with like them having access to information that like older people didn't have.
I think
maybe like the internet and like social media and all of that.
I think that is the biggest thing, and I say that all the time. You know, when y'all were younger, when I was younger, like TikTok, for example, that's like one of the biggest platforms that people just get information from these days. Like that wasn't around. Yeah. So, I mean, maturity, emotional intelligence, self-awareness has just skyrocketed in these kids. And it's honestly, it's really refreshing to see because it makes me trust, you know what I mean? These generations.
Hope for the future.
Hope for the future.
That like maybe we stand a fighting chance.
Maybe we're not absolutely fucked. If global warming doesn't take us out.
One of these kids is bound to figure out global warming, and
I hope so.
And we need that, and that's gonna be good. I think about it every day. But yeah, so I mean, the kids are all right.
Would you say a large percentage of the kids you're working with are like in the queer community or just kind of across the board?
So, I mean, I want to say yes to both of those. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of kids are just way more open when it comes to, I mean, not only like themselves, but just being accepting of like the queer community. You know what I mean? And that just kind of being like, you know, like, hey, okay, you know what I mean? Like, live life, do whatever. I'm not going to say that.
Live life.
No.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
Children, how has being in the queer community yourself impacted like your journey with those kids and also like with your own mental health journey?
So with the kids, it's really great because, I mean, when I was younger, like I didn't know anybody, you know what I mean, that was queer growing up. So for me, it's like that was something that never came to the surface. But for a lot of these kids who are already like questioning, you know, who they are and, you know, what they like and everything like that, it's really nice to have somebody just be like, hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And also, hey, you kind of are like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, again, just being the person I may have needed when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids these days who they're just figuring shit out for themselves, and like that is fine as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else. Do you?
Yeah.
But then for me, you know, being queer and kind of like impacting my mental health journey, like I knew from like the day I came out of the womb, you know what I mean? Like we knew this,
Died
right?
in a homosexual. What is that? Died in the womb a homosexual. That boy is. MZA, have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the boy. But yeah, so yeah, no, I mean, I knew from a very young age, but there were so many different like instances that had come up with like family or friends of, you know, people like making homophobic comments or, you know, just giving off certain vibes that like, okay, they may not be okay with that. You know what I mean? So I just kind of shoved it down for a very, very long time. And that will take a toll on you. You know what I mean? Especially when you're the only one that holds this information. It's like you just want to explode. So it really wasn't, I mean, my mental health journey in general didn't really take a big turn for the best until I came out, which was in college.
Mm-hmm. You were 19, right?
Yeah, I was 19, yes. And originally I had come out as like a bisexual just to kind of dip my toes in the water.
As we all do.
Dipping my toes in the water.
Yeah.
But I only came out as bisexual because I thought my parents would freak out less.
Same.
Yeah. And
Like, there's still a chance that I could get married to a man.
I was like, at the end of the day, like, I want to marry a man. But I just like women. Yeah. And literally,
Baby,
like,
were you in a relationship whenever you came out to them or no?
No.
Okay, you were single.
Yeah,
That's
I
ballsy.
I was not dating anybody at the time.
Okay.
I think I had just dated like the last guy. and then that was that with men. So after that, no, I was single, and then I came out as biflexible, and no, it didn't go well at all. It didn't go well at all. It was really bad actually. And then probably like a few months, maybe like 6 months later, I came back to them and I was like, I'm a lesbian. I'm gay, and that also did not go well. So we've had a few more conversations since then. Still hasn't really gone that well. But I will say, in this time frame, I have found my community. I have found the community.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, as soon as you have, you know what I mean, people standing in your corner and you kind of create that chosen family, and again, just finding your community.
Find your people.
Find your people.
Yeah.
Like, things get so much easier because, you know, family for a lot of people, like, that's a tricky thing when it comes to being, you know, being queer.
And I feel like it doesn't matter what age you come out.
No.
It's going to be scary no matter what. But like the second you find your people and you find your community, you feel like you can settle into you.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I feel like I really didn't even figure out who I was until after I came out and I found my community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I did not.
Same.
You know what I mean? My hair was long. I wore lashes every day.
And that's ongoing.
Had my boobs out. But for me, I was doing it for all the wrong reasons because I was like, okay, I have to like men. Men have to be attracted to me.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
It's what I'm supposed to do. Exactly. Yeah. And then I was like, oh.
I
don't like that at all. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't have to do it.
I'm just not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, all that to be said, you know, definitely my mental health started to finally just get on the up and up once I finally came out. And, you know, even though it was rough with my family, which again, a lot of people go through that, having your community and your people and your partners, like that's going to save you. It's going to save you, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like you have to create a family that like you don't have. So like if your parents are not there for you in the way parents should be, like find other people that will give you that level of support. I feel like I know so many like older lesbian couples that are just ready to like adopt you as their lesbian moms.
My wife and I are not even older than
I know.
You. And you call us, well, maybe not
mommy,
but you.
I
but
call
like
them
you
lesbian
call us
moms.
your moms.
Yeah.
Because we're caretakers. It's like you find the people that like want to be there for you and take care of you.
Exactly. And that fills that void or that gap.
Fills the gap.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for people that are like not out and like dealing with being closeted? Like dealing with their like anxiety and depression?
it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
I think we said that in
Warning.
our coming out story.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but it is 1,000% worth it at the end of the day to come out, even if that's just to some really close friends at first or just one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta take it in baby steps unless you feel like you can just take the whole leap and, do it. It is scary. It's really scary, especially when you are still closeted because you feel so alone. But even though you know that there's a ton of people that would just, support you and be ready to receive you with open arms, if you're still in the closet, you're like, how do I get to these people?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Without blowing my life up. But honestly, life is too short to not live your truth and to let other people dictate how you think and feel.
Yeah.
So my biggest advice is find at least one person that you can confide in and go from there.
Yeah. And also, like, the better will be beyond your wildest dreams. Like, you have to get through the hard part, but the hard part is going to be like a blip on your timeline compared to like the entire extent of your lifetime. I would say the only thing is make sure you're also in a safe position to come out. Have
like
good
housing.
judgment with that. Like, make sure you're in
and have a plan. Have a plan.
Safe.
Like, if you think that, if you are, still being financially supported by your parents or people that may not necessarily support you in that lifestyle and that decision, always have a plan for yourself. And I hate to even have to be like, get ready to run. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
that's the thing. What's nice these days with access to the internet, there are groups in like nearly every city that have like LGBTQ groups that are like, hey, we're here to help the second you need us.
Yeah.
We are here to be your parents, your siblings, your confidants, your funders, whatever you need.
Right.
And you can get connected with those people. So it's a lot easier now than it has ever been, to have the hand outreaching saying, take it, you can come with me and it will be okay.
Yeah.
There are resources now. Whereas I feel like 20 years ago, there was nothing.
Not nearly as much.
Yeah.
At least not accessible.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think what's important about this too is like, even like I came out when I was 24. So that was like 7 years ago. God, I'm fucking old. But I didn't know, like, I'm sure there were resources, but I didn't know about them. I had no idea. Like, I didn't know to make a plan. I didn't know anything. I was thankfully old enough and supporting myself to where it like wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't dangerous, but it would still have been nice to be like, okay, like, here's this group that I can like plug into that I like know about. It took me like years to kind of find that on my own. Yeah. So that's why I feel like even podcasts like this, like us talking about it, is important. Because people need to know.
Just something.
Yeah.
Just to have something to listen to.
And always come up with a game plan, especially if you don't really know how things are going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always have a game plan. Have a plan B, C, D, F, G, all the way to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
All of the steps. And go on the Google.
The Jujol.
And look it up. And say where to go when kicked out if gay. And something will come up. You will be okay.
Okay. Well, okay. So for me, I know, you know that I also sing, have an acting background, everything like that. More stage musical theater. For me, that was like a big outlet when it came to everything, even before coming out. That's how I got into theater. That's how I got into music. Is that something that you got connected to music in? Was like just coping mechanisms and then it became this passion? Or like, how did you get into music to begin with?
Music for me, I mean, I've been trying to do the damn thing since I was little. Like when I was younger, when I was about 6, I had a band, man.
Came out the womb with a mic in hand.
They literally have a photo of like.
We will show the photo.
Yes, we will. We will make sure that we have the photo.
It is right here.
Here.
But yeah, here's another picture of me when I was younger. Because you could just tell that I was born to be a star. No, just kidding. No, but I mean, I always like to sing. My parents would always tell me to shut up because I'd be running around the house just
I feel like you were probably the loudest child on the face of the planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was ADHD and unmedicated. Like, I was all over the fucking place. But no, man, I had a dream. I had a mission. So when I was 12, I decided to try to, like, blow up on YouTube. I don't know where this video is. I wish I could find it. We were looking for it the other day. But I was 12, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a cover of Before He Cheats by
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. I almost said Mariah Carey. Anyways, Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. And I remember, like, I would try to, my mom was like, you know, she was like holding the camera for me and I'm like trying to sing the song, but you could tell I'm like just so stiff and so nervous and I would like fuck up the words and I'd be like, Mom, stop. So that was like when I first started trying to like do something, you know what I mean? I had like my little band. I was like, you know, the lead singer. I was like 6 years old. It was just ruckus in a little bedroom and it was nothing.
If it makes you feel any better, there is a video which will never see the light of day of me in in a talent show. We would sing over like a track of the actual singer singing it. Yeah. So it was like a Mandy Moore, and I like did a whole dance with it, and it's I was like, I got stage fright, and I had my back to the audience, and you can tell that I'm clenching my butt. You can see the butt clench happening all the time. How embarrassing, right? But I was like a child, so like who cares? But like,
talk about spicy trauma.
You'll never fucking see it. Seriously, it's like a core memory because I was so embarrassed.
The butt clench.
Because I like was doing it and I knew in real time I was doing it, and then like I saw the video and was like mortified.
Is that me?
Yeah, no, it's not meant to be a YouTube star.
It's funny that you mentioned that because my next part of the journey was a talent show in 6th grade.
Oh!
Yeah. We've all, every great artist has
butt clenches at their 6th grade
talent show. So 6th grade, so I was 12, I was, you know, trying to do some Carrie Underwood on YouTube. That didn't go anywhere. Then in 6th or 7th grade, I tried to do a talent show. I was trying to sing a song by Christina Grimmie, rest in peace. I was preparing and I was rehearsing and, you know, I was like, I'm going to get up there, I'm going to do it. But I kept starting the song off in the wrong key. Like the lowest fucking octave possible. To where if I tried to keep singing, my voice would just go out because it can't go that low. And I told myself, I was like, get up there and sing it in the right key. I even had like this rosary under my dress. I like had it like tied right here. You know what I mean? I was like, for good luck, like God's got me.
It's very Madonna of you.
Thank you. Anyways, but I was like, I'm gonna get up there, like I'm gonna kill this shit. So I get up there. I start the song off in the wrong octave.
Oh my God.
I honestly don't even remember it. I don't even think I finished the song. I think I got so embarrassed. I was shaking in my fucking boots. Like I shook them off.
It's a shame your balls hadn't dropped yet.
No. They were so far inside. They had not dropped yet at all. No, I ran off the stage and it was so bad. And to this day, the reason I say, you know, I do music is because I'm trying to avenge my 6th grade self. That's why I get up there now and do what I do. So that happened. Then I moved to fucking Mexico. I was in New Mexico and then I went to Mexico.
Old Mexico.
The original one. So I went out there and I was there, you know, doing school, whatever. My dad took an assignment, whatever, out there. And so there we were. And we had to do, for whatever reason, everybody in whatever grade I was in had to do a project. And you work on this project all year and you present it at the end of the year. It could be about whatever you wanted. So I was like, okay, like I'll just record a cover album. I'm just gonna try it out.
Just casually.
So I wrote a song and then I think I did 4 or 5 covers, put it on a little album. We like released it. I never actually put it out anywhere because I just used it for the project. Mm-hmm. Looking back, thank God I didn't because my balls still had not dropped. But we played it at the end at this school performance, and then I did some live stuff as well. And then I started going around Mexico City and doing like open mic nights, like just by myself.
Did you do karaoke there?
No.
Okay.
Not karaoke, just open mic.
Do you like karaoke?
You know.
I hate karaoke.
I don't like it because and not to be an ass, but like I sing. Cause you know, you get up there and you like start doing it and everybody's like, oh, like this isn't even fun cause like you can sing. So
yeah. I feel like
I'm just gonna sit down then.
No,
fuck me.
I agree. Cause I feel like anytime like people ask me to do karaoke.
She sings in cursive, by the way.
What?
Anyways.
Fact.
Side attack. Okay, I sing in cursive and people are like, you can actually sing. So then I feel like I'm ruining the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I get the opposite. Everybody's like, we want you to go sing. And I hate doing karaoke because I mean, maybe it's the musical theater in me, but I like having live music instead of a track because I like to make artistic choices with the music.
Right. Right.
And I also like, I actually get a little bit of stage fright. I don't know if you're like this, but like for me, I'm a weird one where it's, if I can see the whites of your eyeballs, I freak a little bit, which is why like I'll take a shot before shows. Like I'm like, if you want me to get up there, seriously, if you want me to get up there for karaoke, you better have like a Jaeger bomb waiting for me at the end of it. I know.
Okay.
But like
challenge accepted.
But if it is a stage where the lights are so bright that I can't see shit and there's like 40,000 people, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
yeah,
I'm actually the same way. I don't like being in small groups and singing.
Yeah. The intimate stuff freaks me out.
Yeah. Especially if it's people you know.
Scares me.
You like it?
I like that.
So you were in Mexico.
So I was in Mexico. I was doing the open mics, not karaoke, just open mics. And then we came back to America. And then we were here back in Texas, and I was like, okay, well, that was that. So, mind you, when I was 13 or 14, I had taught myself how to play the guitar. My grandfather had given me like my first ever guitar. I taught myself on YouTube University. And yeah, that kind of became like, I mean, and really it still is like my number one coping skill. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm always writing songs, but if I can just force myself to pick up a guitar and just play, you know what I mean? Like I feel a million times better, you know, than I did say 5 minutes ago. So music has always just been my go-to. I will definitely say like not only playing, but just listening to music in general. Like, and I tell this all the time to people, music has saved my life. And it continues to do so every single day. When I had come back to the States, I was finishing up high school, got to college, and that's when the band started.
Cool.
But it didn't start until my, like, halfway through the end of junior year of college. So I had still been doing, like, some open mics, and, like, events or whatever on my own, just, like, playing. I did start doing karaoke in college.
Those are the stories
I was
I've heard.
I was a staple. People around the towns, they'd be like, do I know you from somewhere?
Karaoke
night. You go to karaoke night on Thursdays? I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, that's where. Anyways, then the band started, and then now I don't do karaoke anymore. I just go do shows. So, I mean, your original question was like, you know, music and coping skills, and like, how has that been for you? Mm-hmm. It's been great. It's been working out pretty well. I feel pretty good. And when I don't feel good, I just I play, or I'll write a song, or
I was gonna ask you about that because I've been there when you've like written
or I'll just
some
pluck
songs.
my high E string, ding ding ding, you know, and then I feel so much better.
Fucking musicians, Jesus. Okay, so tell us about the songwriting process. Like, what do you usually?
The song
I've seen you write songs in like multiple different ways, so I want you to tell people how you do this. I mean,
so a lot of our songs, I would say 50-50. So the songs that we have written were either somebody came up with an instrumental like line, and then I would listen to it and be like, okay, I can throw some lyrics in that. The way that I typically write the songs, or, you know, when I write them, I can never just sit down and write a song. Like, I always have to be feeling, even if it's the most, like, minuscule amount of something, like some kind of emotion. All of my songs are emotionally charged. I feel like so are a lot of people's, right? Mm-hmm. But that's really the only time I can write anything good is when I'm feeling some type of way, whether that's good, bad, happy, sad. Sometimes I will just write lyrics. I always write them, you know, music is poetry, right? So as if it's a poem, like with the A-B rhyme scheme and everything like that. Because if you...
Casual.
Yeah. Because when you have your lyrics, like if it doesn't sound good while you're speaking the words, it's not going to sound good if you're trying to sing it. Because sometimes like that gives you difficulties. Anyways, so I'll just, you know, write poems, if you will, and then I'll, you know, pick up the guitar or piano or whatever, and I'll just kind of start messing around and see like what will fit where. All of my songs too, what I love about my songwriting, and even at shows, is like I'll tell the story like real quick behind each song and like what this song means. Because I feel like once you know the meaning behind a song, that can sometimes change the entire vibe. Because, and she's pointed this out before, but like a lot of my songs, my lyrics are like, it's not really like happy stuff. Like it's pretty
pretty deep shit.
It's
dark
pretty
stuff.
like hard shit. You know what I mean? But then the music is like you're just moving and grooving. But then when you like hear the story to the song and then you're actually listening to the words, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You set my heart on fire. Yeah.
It's So true.
But yeah.
What is your favorite song you've ever written?
So my favorite song I've ever written is, well, there's two. So the first one is the title of this episode is WTF, what the fuck. I wrote that one recently, and that had a lot to do with, so me, my bassist, drummer, and guitarist, we were all kind of just going through really weird periods of our life. None of us were really in a good place at that time. You know, we were kind of all just going through it in different ways, but we were, you know, sticking together, and that kind of gave me the idea, because I'm just thinking, I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like this is bad, right? So I sat down and I decided to write the song, What the Fuck? And it's great. It has a lot to do with just trying to figure out, you know, your place in the world, you know, who you can count on, who you can rely on, who you can lean on. And then again, just really cohesive of kind of like what each of us was going through at the time. I won't get into like specifics, but it's a good song. We may end up releasing that as a single after this EP that we just put out.
Yes.
The people liked it, and that's cool, because when I wrote it, it was like on an acoustic guitar, and I was like telling her, I was like, this, you know, this could be something, like this cute little...
Right in. Should What the Fuck be their next single?
Only answers that will be accepted are yes.
Yes, and yes. Resounding
So you
consent,
have to
please.
vote.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I wrote that on an acoustic and then brought it to the band, and then, you know, everybody kind of put their spin, you know, drums, bass, and guitar, and it turned into like a rock song. So it's really good, and it's a lot of fun to play, and it's really special. It means a lot. But my all-time favorite, my baby, my OG song that I will always love is called Hometown Heroes. I wrote that one, and I tell this story at shows sometimes too, but I wrote that song when I was back in my hometown. I'm from a small town, or at least was for the last few years. And it was really like 50-50 on if people left or not. Like a lot of people after high school kind of stayed in the area. And then some people left. They went to, you know, this place and that place. I only ended up like 35 minutes away, but that was far enough. That was good. A lot of people, you know, that I went to high school with too, you know, we would find ourselves kind of hanging out with all the same people like every weekend or every spring break, every summer. And I got to a point where I was just like, okay, I love you guys.
I gotta go.
Yeah, like I got things. I got some big things going on. I was super involved like at my college too. So I mean I had a lot going on in general, but I was just kind of like, wow, like I feel like if I don't branch off, and I think everybody should, like I feel like there's some growing that needs to be done that's not gonna get done. And I had been kind of feeling that way, right? But what really solidified it, I was back in my hometown. I was leaving. I was going back to college. And I was stopped at a gas station, this like 7-Eleven in our hometown. And I walk in, and their fucking pump's broken. So I go in, I like pay for my gas. Girl helps me. And I look up, and I'm like, wow, she looks so familiar. And so I leave, and I'm like, thinking. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's my elementary school bully. That little girl was such a shit. She was such a little shit. She was so mean to me. And so afterwards, I was like, you know what? Fuck this 7-Eleven. Fuck this town. Fuck a bully. I'm leaving. And I probably didn't come back home for like a good 2-3 months after that. I just like stayed, which, you know, everybody is like, well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to leave. And like not come home during college. But anyways, like I had the option. Okay, I didn't end up that far away. So, but I chose to not make that short drive back. Anyway, so I went home and I wrote Hometown Heroes. And that was also probably one of the first songs that I wrote that just flowed, and like it was a completed arrangement, you know, with the lyrics and instrumentals and everything. And so I was really proud of it, and I still am. That will eventually be recorded as well.
Sweet.
But yeah, Hometown Heroes.
Because that one's not on the EP.
No, it is not.
So for these two songs that are Cam's favorites, you'll have to come to a show.
Yeah, they're only available live right now.
No, I do love that you infuse your own life experience, mental health, trauma into a lot of your music. I think that's beautiful. And you've mentioned your band here a little bit. I'd love to hear like what you can tell us about your bandmates, how you met them, how Summit Valley came to be.
Oh, this is a good story, actually. This is a good story. So me and my guitarist, Mr. Rio Eastman, we met in college. We were both in like Greek life at the time, so we like knew of each other. But that was it. You know what I mean? Like, I was not like top house. Like, yeah.
I wasn't in a sorority, so I don't even know what
I
it was.
wasn't. I stayed away from Greek life.
We were the sorority that didn't really. I'll put it like this. We didn't get invited to many things, and in order to get girls to join, they used me as the face of everything. I love you guys though. But anyways, so, and he was in a fraternity and whatever, so we knew of each other, but we never met before until one day, a mutual friend was like, hey, like, you should come over to, you know, my house sometime. Like, my roommates, like, they jam. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, okay. So I was like, yeah, just let me know. So finally one day he texted me and he was like, hey, come over. Like, they're doing their thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I drive over to this like off-campus house. There's a mic laying on the couch. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Like, I guess this is for me. So I get in there and I grab it and I just kind of like start singing as they're just freestyling, just playing music. And I want to say one of those first few nights is when I wrote Rebel Girl and I just freestyled the song. And then we were like, oh shit, like, go write that down, go write it down before we forget.
And y'all were just doing this for fun.
We were
Like,
just
y'all
doing it
were
for
not
fun.
trying
It's
to
a
like.
jam session.
Yeah, we were just jamming. Like, there was no purpose or, you know, mission yet. But then Rio and I were like, you know what? Like, we were like, you know, we could totally like start a band. Like, what if we started a band? What if? What if? And so there was one night we were sitting on the steps of that old little house and we were like, okay, like, if we're going to do it, like, what are we going to call this thing? And so we first were like Summit because the house is on Summit Avenue. So of course we had to like pay tribute to the OG street and the house where it all started. And then Valley came from, so Rio's from Pennsylvania and he lived in somewhere in the valley of Pennsylvania. I have no idea. But Valley, that's where that bar came from. So Summit Valley. So he said, okay, great.
I love that.
Who's gonna
Summit Valley.
exactly?
As above, so below.
That's a scary fucking movie.
Yeah,
I might
you're
watch
welcome.
that later.
So good.
Anyways, we decided, okay, well, so it's me and him for sure, but like, who are the other two gonna be? And at the time, it was two really good friends that also lived at the house, two other roommates. You know, they jammed with us for a little bit and then kind of decided that it wasn't really like for them, like long term. Or at least what we had going on, like, wasn't going to be it. So we branched off. It was just him and I for a little bit. And then he remembered he knew somebody in his hometown. Miss Olivia Jade Cecilia Davis.
That's a fucking name.
Yes.
Mine's really fucking long too, so I get it.
Yes.
Catholicism
Yes.
does that to you.
Well, and Olivia Jade, she is a trans woman. And when she was like kind of talking to us about like the names, she was like, I like these ones. I'm like, bitch,
All of them.
choose all of them. You can have all
If
of
you
the
like
names.
them, you can have whatever
you
you
can have
want.
all of these names. So I love it. Olivia Jade Cecilia Davis.
And it flows.
And it flows really
does.
well. And
It's beautiful.
she is a beautiful human. And so they knew each other kind of in high school. Rio was like, called her up one day and was like, hey, I heard you play, you know, the meanest bass in town or whatever. And, you know, she was like, she was
old
like,
Western?
like she was
like owner of a nightclub from the 80s.
I heard you play the meanest bass in town. She was like, yeah, I might. And he was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, send me some stuff. She pulled up to the house one day because we were like, hey, just like come jam, like just come hang out. You know what I mean? And so she showed up with her bass. You know, whatever she started doing, it was working. It was doing something, right? And so at that time, we still had the drummer that like lived at the house. So like the original guy. And we were kind of playing around with him still a little bit. And then we had booked a show at this little bar restaurant in the area that I live in. No, we had, hold on, I gotta rewind. We had 2 shows. Not one. Two. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, we must
Stop it.
I am with depraved humans right now.
I love it. So
I love it.
We
anyways,
stared a sex podcast.
I know, I'm depraved too. That's why I'm with y'all. Anyways, continue.
we had gotten asked to play a show in Rockwall. So we were like trying to get ready for it. And then the week after that, we had a show at this other establishment. And then we had a kind of like a little falling out with the original drummer. Drummers are a hit or miss, man. They really are.
No pun intended.
Boom.
Anyways, drummers are a hit or miss. So yeah, homie decided he was just not was just gonna not. So we were like, okay,
Bye.
now
Bye,
what?
bitch.
No. We were freaking out. We had a show in 1 week.
Oh God.
And then we had a show after that. So we had 2 weeks. We had about 24 hours to find somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be fine. I didn't know. I don't know how, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work out. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be perfect.
We love optimism here.
I was gonna say, I feel like just knowing you have this like delusional level of confidence, but everything always works out the way you think it's going to.
That's so sweet.
I mean,
No, it's good. It's like
love.
you kind of.
it's gotten me this far.
That's
so
what I'm saying. Like you manifest that shit.
I
You're
do.
Like,
I'm
it's
just
gonna
like,
be
you know
fine.
what? Like if it's meant to work out, it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
usually stuff works out because it's meant to.
Universe takes care of you.
Exactly. So it was a very, very special day. The 4th month of the year, the 20th day of the month.
Oh my God, I just had to think about that so hard. Did you see
I literally
the gears going?
Did
I
you
was
see
like,
that meme with the woman that like has the
With all
math
the
going across?
calculations?
Yeah, that was Bridget just now.
Anyways, 4th month of the year, 20th day of the month. It was a very
it's
special
420 if you
day.
don't fucking get it. Like I didn't.
We
for the
can
first
say
time.
420.
Whatever. Anyways, it was a special day. Okay. And it was me and the girls. So we were going on a hike to a place called Stoner's Peak. It's a very exclusive spot because you can't get up there because it's just off the beaten trail. So anyway, so we grab our stuff, get our little water bottles, stay hydrated. We get up there, we're doing our thing, taking in the view, and then this guy, dude, hops on up there just by himself also, and he was like running, so he was like out of breath. And he like
This is like a magical little forest man that came out of like a
He's like a forest nymph.
a hollowed out trunk
tree.
that he lives in.
Yes, super cool
Really long
outfit.
beard.
He kind of like startled my friends when he had like hopped up there. They were like, ah, like jump scare. But I'm just like sitting on this rock by myself, just staring at this dude. I'm like, something tells me I need to talk to this guy. So I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, come here. I think that I'm the one that asked him this, but he says that he asked me. But either way, somebody asked somebody, do you play an instrument? And he said, yes, I play the drums.
Serendipity. Doodah.
Serendipitous. And it was like the universe sent him to me on that hill, on that day, at that time, a week before this first show. And
I think
2
you
weeks
manifested him.
before the next one. I think I did too.
I don't think he's
an
even
angel.
real.
He can't be.
He fell from heaven.
He's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I like texted Rio and Olivia Jade, and I was like, y'all will never believe who I just found, who I just met on this hill, on this rock, on this peak. And they were like, who? I was like, a fucking drummer. A fucking drummer.
Commence angel voices singing.
Anyways, so yeah, it was like he was just sent to me and to us. Lo and behold, he did it. We played the show in Rockwall, and it was just mind blowing because at the second show we were walking around afterwards, and everybody was like shocked that we hadn't been playing together for years. You know what I mean? And I'd
That's
be like,
how you know you like.
feel like
Yeah.
that's how
Gotta
you
do
know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm like, yeah, we just met that guy.
We don't even know his name yet.
I literally found him in the forest. Like, I don't know. We don't even know his name yet. Yeah, exactly.
We don't even know if he like lives in the forest or if he like
might be.
lives in Rockwall. We'll never know.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually just a fae
That's what I was just
that
thinking.
came from another realm.
He's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was crazy because the energy that we already just had with each other, being able to bounce off of each other musically and everything like that, like it was so natural, and it still is, and it's gotten even better because now this has been going on for about 3 years. But then we took like a hiatus because me and Rio had to go and finish college and get degreed, so we went and did that, and then we were done. And then we started back up last year. But I will say for the last 3 years, we typically get together every single weekend for at least like 12 hours, just rehearsing and writing new material and just bonding to and hanging out. What we realized is that like we're never going to be where we want to be if we're not in a good headspace and if we're not good with each other. So we started making more time to just like hang out, and like we discovered that we love playing cornhole. Like it's
Hell
really,
yeah.
no, it's serious.
I love cornhole.
It's serious.
We should play cornhole.
It's serious.
But camaraderie. But
yes.
especially in the arts. Like it's a
you need
ensemble.
that. It's
like for theater, it's
refreshing.
ensemble because you're
Yes.
always working with new people on stage, and it's like always a new thing. For you, obviously, it's a long-term thing, but like it's always about ensemble connectivity.
So we decided to just start making time to like go and grab a beer and like play some cornhole, just hang out. And that like helped us, I mean, tremendously, because then everybody was starting to like look forward to the weekends again and seeing it less of a chore and more as like, hey, like this is what we love to do. This
passion.
Is, passion. Exactly. So the passion kind of started coming back. So yeah, just I want to say in the last few months we've had like 2 shows.
Yeah.
Like 2 shows.
Hell yeah.
Nothing too crazy. But one of our friends from
Nothing too crazy except your first headline show and your first festival. If I'm not
and we
mistaken.
also headlined that.
Yeah.
Because we were the last band playing. Yeah.
And your EP releasing all in the same like 2
Listen,
weeks.
Nothing too big.
I just
So
see
humble.
myself, and I tell her this all the time. I'm just a wee lad.
Just a wee lad.
I'm just a wee
Anytime
lad.
I'm like, you're such a rock star, they're like, I'm just a wee lad.
I'm just a wee lad. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Berries and cream. Berries and cream.
Berries and cream. Berries and cream. I'm a little lad that likes berries and cream. I'm a wee lad. So I am. I am the weest of lads. So I don't know. I don't like hype things up in my head because I'm always like, okay, this is good. What's next? But yeah, and then she'll have to remind me like, hey, you just did that. And I'm like, that's so true. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We live in
So-
our victories.
We do.
And y'all
I
have a
don't.
lot of like, y'all
I need
have
to
a,
work on it. I'm trying.
It's okay.
it's type A people. Type A people have a really hard time like acknowledging what you're doing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the moment.
You have to actively stop and go, wow, I did that.
I did
Yeah.
that. You can't immediately move on to the next thing in your
Which
mind.
is what
I do that too,
Yeah.
and that's why I can remind you.
We
'cause
all
I
do.
know. We all do it.
Yeah.
We just
We're a couch
have a
full
few
of type A
years.
people.
It's
on
just like
you.
when you expect so much of yourself, once you do something, you're like, okay, good. Now what's next?
Right.
You know
How
what
can I
mean?
do it better?
I will say I have one final question for you
Yes.
before we dive into the spicy trauma world of things.
Which
We
I'm
need
so
you
excited for.
to settle
The debate.
the debate
Great debate.
debate.
of tits or ass.
Or ass.
Tits versus ass.
Yes,
Wow. It's a great debate. It's a great debate.
because I have my answer and I want to know both of yours.
Ooh, okay.
You know, it's really hard. I will say originally, I was tits 100%. And I still am. But then I got into this relationship, and then all of a sudden, I was just like, ass.
Yeah.
It's the roundest. You the bestest.
You deserve a crown, bitch.
Bethany, what about you?
I think I'm also an ass girl.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I
So
love your titties though.
But you don't ever touch my butt like that.
What do you mean? I literally had my face in it this morning.
mom and dad are fighting. So I have always been an ass girl, and I mean,
Okay.
if you've seen my wife's ass,
So we're all ass girls.
you get it. However, every single person I had ever dated up until my wife did not have tits.
But now your wife has both.
Like they were very,
She got
very
tits
flat chested.
and ass.
She got the TNA. Like
the TNA. She got them big old
like two
bitties.
asses, so it's like great.
Do you ever just like shove your face in it?
Oh,
and just,
every
like-
morning.
Yes.
That's how I wake up.
Motorboat.
She gets me out of bed like I'm a little toddler, and she gives me a little hug, and I just.
I love that.
It's glorious. Glorious. I was never a tits girl before, because usually the people I dated were tits people. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, look at me.
but like, thank you. but like it really shifted with her, and then my other partner that I had during that time frame as well, before we broke up about a year and a half ago, also had a rack
Yeah.
and no ass.
You know,
so
what's-
like
my body, like the body type that I'm like the most attracted to is like actually like no tits or like very, very small tits. Like,
don't listen. It's okay.
it's literally you. It's literally you. And ass. Like
I'm
I
looking
like,
down like that's
Where are they?
I like small, like cute little tits and
these
like
mosquito bites and
around
juicy
ass.
mangoes.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. Anyways, with
The debate is settled.
the debate
because
has
ass.
been settled. We love ass. Tell us, are you a tits or an ass kind of person?
the great
We wanna
debate.
know. DM us. Okay, with that, spicy trauma. We like to end every episode with spicy trauma of the week, life, whatever you want to share with us. We want you to share yours, but this week we're going to have our lovely, lovely guest, Niki Joans, share some of their most titillating dalliances.
Titillating.
So excited
Yeah,
for this.
but yeah, DM us yours. It can be anonymous. That's fine. Take it away.
Either way, she'll read them to me, so I will be involved and I will know too, and I would like to laugh.
Thank you.
I would also like to laugh. Anyways, you know what? I'm going to go with this. So in college, right, I was like, after I had come out, I was feral. I was constantly on a Tinder bender.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Honestly, who wasn't?
Constantly.
Say we all were.
Constantly. So it was really bad. It got to a point where I had a planner. Yes, I had a planner, and I had to write down women's names and the time that they were going to come over so that I didn't accidentally double book myself. Somehow
This is the worst you've ever heard.
Somehow I still failed and I double booked myself. No, listen. Okay, so I this girl came over, we did what we did, I did what I did. Yeah, exactly. No. So she leaves, right? I'm like, all right, time's up. Like I have another appointment after you. But I didn't say that. I was like, oh my God, like I gotta go to like class or whatever I said. But I was like,
I gotta go to class where I learn how to eat pussy.
Yeah, I was like, I have to
Just a
go.
modern day gigolo.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm very much a top, so I never let anybody do anything. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, just
Thank
get
you.
in and get out.
Come again.
So anyways, so she, got her shit and left, right? So homegirl, like, walked out of my apartment and was in the hallway, and then the other girl got there, right? She came out of the stairwell right after she had left my door, so she didn't see her come out of my apartment. And they passed each other in the hallway. And by the time the next girl got to my place, the other girl had already, gone down the stairs.
You had like a very slick operation here.
I mean, I take pride in my work ethic. It was sloppy at the time, but, it's a lot better now.
You had a planner.
Yeah.
And I still double booked myself. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, but they didn't know.
No.
They didn't
But
find
imagine if. And then eventually, it slowed down because at one point on my 21st birthday, I was at a bar, and these two girls who, I knew, but
And
they didn't
all
know each
of
other.
the women in your planner were at the bar.
Listen. So these two girls are sitting next to each other, and I'm drunk off my ass because people have been like feeding me tequila shots all night. It's like coming out of my nose, like it's bad. Like I'm fucked. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh my God. They were like, Niki, come over here. And I'm like, what's up? And they were like, we just found out we're Eskimo sisters. And I was like, oh my God, with who? And they were like, with you. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay. I was like, no more sleeping with the locals. Like we can't do this anymore. You guys just ruined it. I'm glad you're friends now, though.
I was gonna say they weren't mad at you.
No, but I was like, ugh, you know what I mean? The water's getting a little too muddy now.
Trauma.
Yeah, so
This is my girlfriend, ladies and gentlemen.
but now y'all see why we work. Just crazy.
And now you'll see what I'm stuck with.
Bridget gets to witness all of this behind the scenes just unfolding. I just had a moment where I remembered something.
What, when I came around the corner last night and you guys opened the bathroom door, I said, did you have a nice fuck? And you both lost it? Because you did have a nice fuck?
Because it was true.
The way that you said it was like
Comedic
so matter of
timing.
fact.
She didn't miss a beat. We got done, opened the door, and she's like,
a nice
hello. She's like, did you have a nice fuck?
And I was like,
I was like, oh, wow.
I was like, but don't go into the bathroom yet. It's like the rug is wet. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what like bath mats are for, right?
It literally, there's one in the bathroom.
Yeah, except for the fact that it wasn't water.
No.
Yeah, that was the point.
That's the point. With that, we have to end it here, or it's just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Trauma Bondage, and a big thank you to Niki Joans for joining us today. Please share with everyone where they can follow you and stalk all of your wonderful endeavors coming up.
Yes. Thank you. And yeah, you can find, we're really active on Instagram right now. So if you look up Summit, Valley, on Instagram, that's where you will find us. We've got our link tree and our bio, and that's where we're going to have all of the links to our EP on Apple Music, Spotify, all the good stuff. And if you want to follow my Instagram, it's Niki, Niki.Joans, Joans. Follow me. I might follow you back if I see. Maybe.
Right. Promise us.
Maybe.
We'll have all of that as well in the summary. So if you didn't get it here, you can find it down there. But otherwise, we love the fuck out of you guys. We hope you have a wonderful, spicy, traumatic-filled day.
Be good.
Or don't.
We won't.
And therapy is okay.
Bye.
If you like today's episode, follow us on social media at Trauma Bondage Pod. Follow Beth at Dancing Gemini and at Bethany Nicole, and Brigitte at Your Fave Femme. If voyeurism is your kink, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trauma Bondage Podcast, and subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/traumabondagepod.
We have several tiers with bonus content, access to our private Discord server, merch, and other titillating perks. If you know, you know. Production by Wolfstar. Special thanks to Details by Annalise for set design, D. Dumpy for music, and Noelle's art for artwork.